Hey everyone, I'm Joe, and today's video is half of a BookTuber recommendations and half of a BookTuber appreciation. Now there are 7 BookTubers that I am going to be talking about. I obviously do recommend you go and check all their channels out and possibly subscribe, obviously, if you like the kinds of things they talk about. But it's not just recommendations, because I'm going to be extremely honest and extremely direct with why I like all of these 7 people, because I like all 7 of these people for more than just their BookTube channels. I like them as people outside of BookTube, and indeed I would very much like to meet all 7 of these people and, hang out with them, go to a bookshop, go to a library, go and have a meal in a restaurant, whatever. I would like to actually meet them and just get on, and I think obviously I would get on well with all 7 of these people. There are more people, of course, on BookTube that I like and I would indeed like to meet. It's just I can't include everybody in this video, so I've just chosen 7 people that I talk to an awful lot and I talk to on a very regular basis, and indeed all 7 of these people I've mentioned in videos in the past as well, some of them more recently than others, but yeah, I talk about them a lot. Oh, and the order that I'm going to be talking about them is alphabetical apart from the first person, because the first person I'm going to talk about is the most important BookTuber that I know, and that is, as you might have guessed, frankly, because it's not really difficult, is Rachel, known as Kalinadi on BookTube. Now, as you might be aware if you've watched my channel for any length of time, I talk about Rachel in videos on a remarkably regular basis. I've actually think I've mentioned her in at least one video every single month for the last 2 years without fail, I think. Actually, in some cases I've mentioned her a lot more than twice than once a month. Sometimes twice, 3 times. I'm not really sure at this point, but yeah, I talk about Rachel a lot. And the reason that I talk about Rachel a lot is, well, frankly, for the obvious reason that she's officially awesome. Actually, I think an awful lot of Rachel, if you didn't know and you hadn't figured that out by now. Rachel is the BookTuber I most want to meet. She's also the BookTuber I most want to hug. And that sounds a bit odd, but it is true. For some reason I've been wanting to hug Rachel for ages, and I can't, because unfortunately she happens to live in America and she's like 6,500 miles away across an ocean. So it's a bit tricky to just hug her, but I will be meeting her next year, so I will indeed be able to give Rachel a hug, and then we can hang out and do stuff, which is frankly great. And the reason I want to meet Rachel and just talk to her and hang out with her is because I honestly think that we just get on as people, and we just be able to just talk about not just books, but about whatever's on our minds at the time without any problems. And also, which is almost as important, maybe even more important, is we'll be able to actually sit in each other's company without speaking and without it being awkward, because being able to sit in silence with somebody without it being awkward is just as important as being able to talk to somebody. And I think me and Rachel would actually get on in that regard extremely well. We can both sit there and read our own books. But equally though, we can both sit there and talk about books for like an hour and a half non-stop. So, we should get on really well. And she's just a really nice person. She's a nice person. She's got an interesting sense of humour. She often laughs at herself in videos, and always makes me smile when I'm watching her videos. I mean, literally, I don't think I've ever watched a video from Rachel where I've had any other expression on my face other than a big smile, because she's just cheerful to watch. Rachel is. Also, she's responsible for me buying more books than anybody else on BookTube, by the way. I should just point that out. She's kind of terrible to watch in that way, because she keeps encouraging me to buy books by being really enthusiastic about them and talking in a really eloquent way about them. Kind of, it's useful, but almost annoying. I'm being sarcastic there, obviously, because she's frankly a fantastic person to know, and I'm really glad that I know Rachel. Anyway, enough about Rachel. I mean, I could talk about Rachel all day, and indeed, I'm kind of hoping that this video isn't going to be like too much on Rachel and then like really short segment on everybody else. We'll see. Anyway, the second person is Bree, whose channel used to be Stories from the Shelf, and his channel is now Bree Reads Books. I still keep calling her channel Stories from the Shelf though, because I've known her longer as Stories from the Shelf than Bree Reads Books. Now, Bree lives in the next door state to Rachel, she's an American. And one thing I have to say about Bree, and indeed it's really obvious when you watch her videos, is just how happy and cheerful Bree is at all times. You watch Bree's videos and she's always really smiling, and it's not a forced smile. She's just happy to be talking about, but generally books most of the time, of course. I mean, these are all booktubers, but it's more than that though, because you get the feeling that she's just happy to be there. You know, she's happy about doing whatever she's doing. She could be doing some really boring everyday task and still be cheerful most of the time. And her sort of general sense of happiness and cheerfulness is great to see. And frankly, she's probably the happiest booktuber, at least by appearances, that I know. And indeed, I will be meeting Bree next year as well, at the same time as Rachel. So I can see for myself whether Bree's just as happy as she appears to be. I suspect that is probably accurate. Bree happens to be a really nice person. She always talks in a really enthusiastic way about books, and indeed that's the other significant thing about Bree's channel. Her enthusiasm for the books is infectious, frankly, because she gets extremely excited and enthusiastic about books, and you can tell really obviously that she loves a book. With me, I'm a lot more reserved, and you can't tell my enthusiasm some of the time, frankly. With Bree, that's not an issue, because if she likes a book and she's enthusiastic about it, you can tell in 1 second at first glance that she is. And I just love being able to see that. It's just fun to see, and it makes you feel enthusiastic about the book as well. Even if sometimes it's not a book that I'm overly bothered about, you know, it still makes me want to find out more information about it in general anyway. The next person I'm going to talk about is James, whose channel is James Chatham. Now, the most obvious thing that I can say about James is he is the most musical booktuber that I know of. Now, many of the booktubers that I know they like music, but they don't really mention it very much. I mean, like me, I'm actually a massive music fan. I listen to music pretty much every single day of the week. Indeed, I was actually listening to music just before I filmed this video, and I'll be listening to the video later on. But James is by far the most musical person that I know. Actually, not just booktuber, but person in general. In fact, he loves music. He has a very large vinyl collection, which he's very proud of, and rightly so, because it is an impressive vinyl collection. And he loves both listening to music, talking about music, and indeed playing music, because obviously he can play music himself. Now, within the last year, I think it might be, could be the last 6 months, I think it's a year, he has started to do the occasional video about once a month related to music. And I found this to be a very interesting experience, because of course I like music myself, so hearing him talk about music is of course useful for me, because it means that I'm getting familiar with artists that I never heard of before. But other than that though, also because he's talking about music and he's also talking about books, he talks about them with the same level of enthusiasm. He's just enthusiastic about both. And frankly, I think that his way of talking about music is affecting the way he talks about books, and vice versa. The way he talks about books is affecting the way he talks about music, because normally I find you talk and think about books in a different way than you talk and think about music. And because James is doing both on the same channel, often obviously very close together, both of them are affecting each other, and it's creating a very interesting way of speaking about both music and books. And I think it's really quite interesting what he's doing with his channel now. And also the other thing I like about James is that he reads a lot of books that I also happen to be a big fan of. I mean, for instance, he likes Ray Bradbury, which I love, and he likes many of the authors that I've got on the shelf behind me. So James is actually a good person for me to talk about books with, because he happens to like a lot of the same authors. And if he doesn't like them, then more than likely probably he'll try them at some point as well, because he's quite willing to try completely new authors, well, like any booktuber really, and sort of see if he either likes them or possibly hates them, as the case may be. Now, the next person I'm going to talk about is Katy, whose booktube channel is Kitty G. Now, Katy is a very popular booktuber. The first thought that I have to say about Katy when you see her videos is that she has a very bubbly personality. She's very friendly, she's very easy to talk to, and she's just, you get the feeling that if you met her in person, you'd just be able to just talk to her about not just books, but about whatever. And you're able to sit there really comfortably with her and just talk about things. You can go in bookshops with her, you can do whatever. And Caitlin's just the easy to get on with person and the friendly person that she appears to be. And for the record, I have actually met Caitlin 5 times now, I believe. And indeed, she is exactly what she appears to be on camera. She is just as bubbly, just as friendly, and just as nice as she appears. You know, the first time I met Caitlin, within about 2 minutes, I was talking to her as though I'd known her for years. And she's just really easy to talk to. And there's just something about her that just makes her just approachable somehow. I don't know what it is, I can't actually put it into words. But she's just easy to get on with without even trying. Which frankly, I'm not always, because I come across sometimes as though I'm not people think that I'm too busy thinking about something because of the expression on my face and such. So people tend to sort of leave me alone. With Caitlin, people just tend to, I notice this, people just will happily go up to her and talk to her, and she'll just happily talk to them back. And it's that sense of friendliness that is great to see on a BookTube channel. And frankly, Caitlin is the sort of friend that everybody hopes that they have to have one day. And indeed, I'm not sure if I can cast Caitlin as a friend. I mean, I haven't met him in person, so I suppose I can. I don't know how that works with online people though, because I've met her online, but I now know her in person. So is she a friend or what? I don't know. No, let's cut that bit. Caitlin is the sort of friend that everybody hopes that they will one day have, because she's just easy to talk to, she's fun to hang out with, and she's just a really nice and genuine person. And she's exactly what she appears to be in person as she appears on her videos. On her channel, she talks about a wide variety of books. She's heavily fantasy, although she talks about obviously science fiction and several other genres as well. So I would recommend you go and check Caitlin's channel out, of course, but then I'll say that about all the people that I'm going to talk about in this video. The next person that I'm going to talk about is Katy, whose channel is Katy Loves to Read. Now, the most obvious way to describe Katy is the fact that in her videos she appears to be a really nice and kind person. She's really kind and considerate. And the other thing I'm going to say about Katy, and I may well embarrass myself here because well, I'll explain in a minute, is the fact that, as far as I'm concerned, she always appears to be adorable in her videos. I may regret calling her adorable, however, because I have met Katy earlier in this year, and indeed I will be meeting her in the very near future, in just over a month's time. So calling her adorable, yeah, I'm probably going to end up feeling quite embarrassed by the fact that I've called Katy adorable, but oh well, you know, I said I was going to be honest, and I really do mean that I'm going to be honest. Katy is just as easy to get on with as Caitlin was, and she's just as nice. She's really friendly, and you can't help noticing that she actually really cares about people. Katy does. I mean, she says it about on both her channel and on her Twitter, and she appears in person. She really cares about people, and you get a genuine sense that she wants to help people as much as she can. And obviously that is something that frankly is really nice to see. And I'm really looking forward to meeting Katy again, because I just really like her as a person, because she's just so nice and friendly and adorable. I shouldn't really keep calling her adorable because I'm going to get embarrassed in a minute. So, but anyway, so that's enough about calling people adorable. The next person I'm going to talk about is Paul, whose channel is Comment Touch of Fantasy. Now, the most obvious thing that you'll notice and you'll think when watching Paul's channel is the fact that he's a very honest and trustworthy person. The instant you watch his channel, just his level of honesty and his trustworthiness and sort of how genuine he is as a person comes across in 1 second of watching one video. It's really obvious with him. And he's very open and broad-minded about things as well, so he's not judgmental about people. You know, he'll take people for who and what they are, which is really nice to see as well. And I'm not being sarcastic when I say this, but he does fit the sort of stereotypical fantasy stereotype of being the big, friendly giant, frankly, because he is really a tall guy. He's actually nearly 6.5 feet tall, and he is tall, kind, gentle, and just easy to get on with, I reckon. And I will be meeting Paul next year, so I'll be able to tell whether he's the what I've just described, which frankly I'm slightly biased. I've just called him Big Friendly Giant, but oh well. But he's a really nice, easy to get on with guy. He's very genuine on his channel, and he tries to talk about a really interesting variety of books in a very honest way, very direct with what he says, without trying to be offensive, obviously. And I just really like Paul. He's just a good guy, and he's just that sort of stereotypical nice guy, whatever nice guy means in this case. And the last person that I'm going to talk about is Sam from Sam's Nonsense. Now, Sam is the biggest booktuber in this video as far as subscriber count is concerned, although she also happens to be the smallest booktuber as far as size goes, because she's actually very small. Now, Sam, as you can probably tell from her channel, is a really nice person, and she's a really fun person. You watch her channel, any video of hers, and her level of fun and just how nice she is comes across really well. Now, and the thing that I like about Sam is that she's, I mean, like I said about Paul, she's very genuine and very honest about what she thinks about books. If she doesn't like a book, she will say so. She doesn't try to sugarcoat it too heavily. You know, she'll just say that she didn't like a book for these reasons, and she'll be very direct about it. And the other thing that I think is quite admirable about Sam is the fact that, like many people, and indeed like me, she can get very sort of self-conscious and very sort of doubtful of herself sometimes about her intelligence and about her ability to just get things done. And she's very open about admitting that, you know, she's had a bad month or a bad week or whatever, and that might have affected how she talks about books. And frankly, the fact that she's able to just admit that openly and she doesn't mind saying it is admirable, at least I find, because I'm not like that. I tend to, if something is bothering me, I won't say so. I will always be the sort of positive, cheerful person that you see in most videos. So the fact that Sam is willing to be her genuine self and not sort of always act so super cheerful like every single second of every video is admirable, and is really nice to see. She's a really nice person, and I'm hoping that I might see her next year as well, but I'm not sure. She's not aware that something's happening next year, which I'm not going into in this video, but Sam, there's an event that happens near you next year that I'm going to, so you might want to think about going, because then I can meet you and we can get to bookshops and stuff and do stuff. Anyway, with that said, that is it for all of these 7 people that I'm going to talk about here. If you have any people that you'd like to recommend to me, so basically like a booktube recommendations to me, then please go ahead and tell me who they are. Don't link their channels, however, because YouTube tends to have a issue with blocking comments that have links in them automatically, and then sometimes it doesn't even tell me that it's blocked it, so the comment will be completely missed by me forever. So just be aware of that. Just tell me what the channel name is, and you know, I'll have a look at it myself. Also, if you like any of these 7 people, which probably you may well do, considering that I talk about them all the time, then tell me why you like any of these 7 people for, because I'm just curious, you know, to what people think of all of these 7. And with that said, that is it for this video. All my social media links will be in the description box below, as they always are. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you another day. Bye for now.